Welcome back. Right now, I'm honored to have Dr. Dionna Hancock-Johnson joining us today. She's a life coach, an author, among many other things. I'm excited to hear about her story, her journey, and how we can all connect with her. Dr. Dionna, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well this morning. Excuse my voice, but I'm doing well this morning.
So tell me more about Dr. Dionna and how you have gotten to where you are today.
Well, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I left D.C. to attend school in Oregon. That was my first school that I attended, which was the University of Oregon for my bachelor's degree. Then I went to Iowa State University for my master's, and then I attended Argosy University for my doctorate. I started off in San Diego, and then I moved to DC. So it was like a homecoming to be full circle to be back home to finish up my doctorate. And then I moved to Los Angeles a little while after that. I think I went back home for a while and then I moved to Los Angeles. And I had my son, and throughout the journey, I've had my son, my daughter, and now my newborn. So I got to where I am just by working hard and, staying focused and being really dedicated to who I am as a person. And I'm so thankful for the journey. It hasn't always been easy, but yet I still have made the hurdles to be who I am and build this brand, be your own life coach, as well as the future brands that's coming up as well.
And I'm curious, when you look back on your early years, pre-college time frame, when you were growing up, I understand that there was a lot for you to overcome in those years. What do you reflect back on now that you've accomplished so much when you think about that time in your life?
Education is the key. I became obsessed with getting the education and learning. And I said that I'm going to go as far as I can in life and I'm going to get the highest degree that I can get. And I reflect back on those things that all those hard times brought me to who I am today and making me realize that in life, you're not going to have an easy path. And regardless of what path you have, know that you can overcome it. So I'm very thankful for where I am because there has been so many hurdles that I've jumped and so many hurdles I've went through to get to where I am, to be successful, to have a beautiful family, and to be able to just enjoy what life really has to offer.
Tell me about your books and especially where we can find them.
So my first book I created is called Where Did My Half Brother Come From? It's a little, you can see it here. There you go. This book is teaching young kids how to deal with their half siblings. When I was 15, I was introduced to my half brother through my dad, and it became something that was really shocking to my family. But this book is for children who are 4 to 8 who don't understand what the dynamics are between coming together as a blended family and understanding what a half sibling or half brother, half mom or stepdad, mom are. So this was my first book that I created. It was the first to be created on this journey. My second book was my bestseller, Be Your Own Life Coach. And this book has really done wonders in teaching people how to become their own life coach and who they are. And so what I realized is that when you are going through so many struggles, and this book was more special to me as I wrote the process. I was living in Miami at the time. And the process of this journey in writing the book taught me that you have really became your own life coach, and that's what I've done. Like, I really have become my own life coach, and I started that brand to help others realize that not that you don't need a life coach or a psychologist, because I am a psychologist. I have become someone that is unique in the industry. And I feel like there's rare people who realize that they can be their own life coach or can get themselves through things. I feel like we can utilize the tools that are offered to us in terms of support and help. But when there's something special about you that can help you overcome the things that you've been through and you do them on your own, it brings a different kind of determination out of you, if that makes sense.
And not only are you a life coach, you're very well educated, you're an author, you've overcome so much. You also have your own company and invention. Tell me about that.
Yes, yes, yes. So I didn't say this before. Yes, a psychologist, a life coach, a speaker, an author, and an awesome mother. And my newest invention came from my daughter, who was diagnosed at 3 of being type 1 diabetic. It was such a shocker for us. I had also known a little bit about diabetes because my dad was diagnosed. And so growing up, I knew about that. And that was always a sensitive topic for me. So to realize and find out that a kid could also be diagnosed was a hard thing to deal with. And then when it's your own kid and you see your baby in pain and you can't do nothing about it, it's a big deal. With that process, we had a regular day in daycare and she was rushed to the hospital and we found out then she was diabetic. It was several symptoms of that, but you can catch that on our documentary that is on at donate.tpuc.com or go to thepocketunderwearcompany.com. So my company and my invention came from the fact that she was diabetic and having to be bound to an insulin pump 24/7. As she was bound to that insulin pump 24/7, I realized there was nothing but a spy belt for people to wear their stuff under their clothes, in their clothes. I'm sorry, outside of their clothes. So therefore, there was nothing available on the market for someone who wanted to wear their pump at their discretion, share their diabetes at their discretion. So that's how the Pocket Underwear Company came about. And it is the first company to design underwears with a pocket, let alone something for just a medical device such as an insulin pump. And we're hoping to have it available for all insulin pumps. And right now I'm working on just launching that. And so at donate.tpuc.com or the pocketunderwearcompany.com, you're going to find that we have different, like 15 different prototypes of you can wear your pocket on the left, on the right, on the back. You can wear it in the center. We're going to start off with the center pocket so that we can accommodate a lot of tandem insulin pump clients. And that will be our start because that's what my daughter has. And so the underwear was dedicated to making that underwear, but we're planning to have everything else available for everyone across the world. But that was how that invention came, just from my daughter's diagnosis, realizing there was a need in the market, realizing that, there has to be other people going through this if I'm going through it. I had just bought my daughter all these clothes and she couldn't wear them because she had to be attached to the spy belt. And then another thing happened is that having the spy belt created times where people would ask her, well, what's in your spy belt? What's in this and what's that? And making her feel uncomfortable. And I've learned over the journey of this that there's so many others that feel uncomfortable with having to wear their pump on the outside of their clothes. So therefore, having this here for families and people to be able to just go on about their business, be able to be treated the same, people not knowing about their diagnosis, people sharing at their own discretion has been a good thing for my daughter at least. So I know that's going to change many other lives.
And I love that you also have a podcast that addresses toddlers who have type 1 diabetes and helps their parents really navigate the challenges there.
Yes, so our podcast is with me and my daughter. It's talk about our journey, talking type 1 with toddlers. It is a tongue twister. But we have that. We've launched that in the spring of this year, and we're still in season 1. I think we have up to episode 5 that's posted now. But on that podcast, you're going to hear me talk about my struggles as a mama, fears as a mama who has a child who's diabetic. You're going to hear from my son telling the story of how he felt the day that she was diagnosed. You're also going to hear from Siana Milani, who is my daughter, who can share her journey of what she remembers. Now that she's a little older, I don't think she quite remembers as much of it that we remember, but she was able to share. I think she was on 2 different podcast episodes where she was able to share her journey in terms of what she remembers and how she reacted and how people treated her. Her own story that I just shared with you about people asking her, well, what's in your pump? They'll say, what's in your fanny pack? And it was more like, well, they maybe think she had lipstick or this, not knowing it was insulin to save her life, not knowing that it was medicine. So that was a hard transition. And then I talk about on the podcast how for almost a year I was depressed, not knowing what to do. And then the morning of what happened after we went back home from the hospital and how it took me hours to get her together the first day I was home alone with her. It was just a lot of things that I feel like is needed to be shared with other families who are going through this. And we want to be a sounding board for other moms and parents or dads, families who have children who are going through the same thing. That was also needed in the market. We don't have that in the market as of right now.
What a terrifying time and so many challenges. I know many appreciate you sharing what you've learned and also being so open about your life. I wish we could keep going, but we are sadly out of time. How can we connect with you, find out about the podcast, the company, your books, all these great things that you're involved in?
Well, you can find me at drdionna.com and on all platforms. That's including YouTube, that's including Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Dr. Dionna Life Coach. You can find more about the Pocket Underwear Company at thepocketunderwearcompany.com or donatetpuc.com. Anyone is open to donating, to helping us to the cause to help get each family who's newly diagnosed a pair of underwear. We're trying to get those out to the newly diagnosed families who are going through the struggle and don't know that they can overcome it. So working towards that and trying to get all the new families what they need, and then accommodating all the families who have insulin pumps and have had them for a while through purchasing. But right now we just want to focus on donating, so people can donate at donatetpuc.com, and on the social media platforms you have the Pocket Underwear Company as well.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Dionna. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, hearing about all the many things that you're involved in. Such a talented and motivated, really impressive person. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'll be back with more right after this.